Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Critics' Choice Online News with Haytt series. Here I have Mr. Neil Jagdale, from the Amrut Global Luxury Malts and Spirits, and he's the second generation leadership heading the distillery in India. And in fact, what's more impressive is that Mr. Jim Murray, who is the world leading whiskey writer, he wrote in his Whisky Bible 2010 that Amrut Fusion has been rated as one of the finest, in fact the third finest whiskey malt in the world. So it's amazing how India now has arrived to a world stage. And here I have the chairman himself who will tell us more about their legacy. Welcome Mr. Neil. It's really a pleasure to have you on our online show.
Pleasure, Mr. Ravind. It's nice to be here.
And at the same time, we also heard that you will be launching your debut here in Singapore, in Southeast Asia. Is that true?
In fact, we have been present here for the past 2 to 3 years or more. Lama Sundu Whisky has been carrying our products for the past 3-4 years. So we did participate in the same show 2 years ago, 2010 at the Rapid City. And my son was here at the time, and it was a very good show. And they have done a great job in bringing the malt culture to the city and seeing that people are more educated about drinking high quality malt whiskey. We are very pleased.
And speaking about whiskey,
yes,
I know what's the history behind whiskey in India. I mean, for me, it's the first time. So, would you care to share with us how whiskey exists in India?
Yes, it's a very good question. See, the distilling industry in India is more than a centuries old, 100 years old, or even a little older than that. Primarily, it came during the colonial British days, and distillers like Stienberg distillery, which is now Mohan Mekin distillery, and we had the A.W. Hayward, which became the Shaw Wallace distillery, and the McDowell and Company, which is now the United Spirits. Some of the leading distilleries I could name off, apart from many other distilleries which may not be present today, but got merged with many other distilleries years later. Historically, it is the British colonial days, and basic distillation came into India, and the whiskies in those days and brandies in those days were basically made out of molasses distilleries, molasses alcohol. That was the base of Indian distilling beverage alcohol. And India produces a huge quantity of sugar cane, as you know. Molasses is the byproduct of sugar, and naturally we used to produce a lot of alcohol from molasses, which was refined to make what was then known as Indian-made liquor, Indian-made foreign liquor. And in those days, it was just made with essences and caramel and flavors down there. But we saw in the 1980s, 70s and 80s and 90s that there was a need to upgrade the qualities. So quite a few of us went into distilling malt whiskey, grape brandy, as a part of 100% product made from grain as far as malt whiskey is concerned, especially barley and malted barley, and grape brandy is from the grapes that were available in different parts of the country, more particularly in Bangalore, where it has a good history of distillation, both by way of brandies and whiskies. Personally, also, our distillery was started in 1948 by my father, and that's post-independent. There were quite a lot of new licenses that came in different parts of the country, and we continued the tradition of the normal IMFL, like blending and bottling of various alcohols. But 70s and 80s we went into distillation of brandies, and in 80s the distillation of malt whiskies both. So primarily these were used as an admix with the refined molasses alcohol to produce higher quality spirits, which were well known as what the premium, as well as semi-premium segments of the Indian market, which still happens to be the bulk of the Indian market even today. But 90s and onwards, a few of us, particularly us, we were able to keep more stocks of malt whiskey for a longer aging period, and by law, to get into the European Union, you have to be 3 years old. So we had whiskies about 4 years old, 5 years old. As you know, in India, because of the tropical conditions, the losses are very great. Maturation is a great challenge, especially even in a place like Bangalore, which has got a fairly even climate, not very hot, not very cold. The average is around 25 around the year, except in summers it may go to about 24, 34 for a few days. Good humidity around 60% average, even in a good altitude of about 3,000 feet above sea level. Historically, we have made good products, and even at that, even over there, we lose about 10 to 11% a year on an average. So you can't age too long. 5 years to 6 years is the maximum you can age, within which you would have lost about half of the barrel. So economically, it won't be feasible, and even the product cannot take up too much of cooking. We use the standard norm of the industry, which is ex-bourbon barrels from the United States, and also new bourbon barrels. They are new oak barrels from the United States. Those are the mainstay of the distilling industry all over the world, and in India too. So basically, it is ex-bourbon and new American oak, which is used. And we have an on-site cooperage which takes care of handling the barrels and maintaining those barrels continuously around the year. We age it between 3 to 5 up to 6 years of age. So we were in a position to get some quality products by 2000 and 2004. So we launched in 2004 in Glasgow. So, and 7-8 years down the line, I think we have had some recognition across the globe, and more particularly when Mr. Jim narrated the fusion, which is essentially 85% of the barley is Indian, and about 15% of the barley is peated Scottish barley, which comes from Scotland, and we distill and mature it in India, both of them, and then it's fused. So it got a very good recognition because it had a strong character of the Indian barley and a very strong character of the peated Scottish barley. So it was fused very well, and it got well noticed across the world, and people liked the style. So that's part of the story, and I would say, from a point of view of history of distilling in India, India is in the process of producing not only just the mass drinks which is required, but I think quite a few distillers and some family distilleries like ours have been looking at the higher end of the premium end of the spirits market, like malt whiskey, grape brandy, and probably some very high quality rums to come from India.
And speaking about India, and the future itself, what kind of plans do you have in mind? What actually caused you to take on the business, being a second generation? I mean, it's amazing. Your father started, and then he has passed on this business to you. Was it sheer inspiration, or was it the love for whiskey?
No. As far as myself, I got into the business when I was 38. I was 28, just came out of graduation from my college. I was a graduate of chemistry as a background, and my father himself was a graduate in chemistry. Good old days of 40s and 50s. So it was quite natural that we joined our father's business. It just happens to be that we were in the distilling business, but we had other businesses, but distilling was one of the major areas. So he put me into the industry, and now it's 40 years I've been in the industry, and my son and my son-in-law both are also in the family business, and they would like to take it forward. I said if they like it, they should try and keep the family tradition going on, and it's nice, independent family distilleries have been there all over the world. And if you see any of the great brands, Scotch malt whiskey, American bourbons, Canadians, anyway, it has been basically started as family businesses and has gone through several generations before probably it has gone to a public company, some tables, but then fundamentally, it's the passion that drives the business. That comes from a lot of family involvement. It's like cooking food at home and serving somebody else. It's a great pleasure for us to do, to make a nice dish and give it, and it's done in the family. It's always nice.
And speaking about nice food, nice whiskey, what's your secret of a good leader? I mean, you have been leading the company passed down from by your father. Is there any life lessons that you could give to our readers and our viewers at the National Business Choice and say that higher? And also, what's next for the future of whiskey in India?
Well, to share my experiences of being in the business for about 40 years, what I can pass on to a generation next is that be simple, be honest, tell the truth, and be original. Be what you are. We don't need to pose that we are somebody else. There's no need. If I make good food, it's there on the platter, and wherever it is made, good food is always appreciated. It doesn't matter where it is made. We have great restaurants in the world where family-made food is eaten. People go and eat in those places because it's made with a lot of passion and love. So I can only say the young people, if you have businesses of your families, which I'm quite sure Asian families still have traditions of continuing, please reflect, think about it, because all these have been built with a lot of pain by the generation behind. Try and see that you get involved, and if you develop a passion about it, please do keep going on with it. There will be hard days. You can never have a life which is going to be straight. It will never be so for anybody at any point in time. But there will be ups and downs. But as long as we keep a steady head and we are patient and be honest about it, I think we will succeed. That's what I can say as far as the family business is concerned, and as far as Indian whiskey market is concerned, particularly it's a huge market. It's going to grow exponentially across India. We have a growth rate of about 8 to 10% year on year in the alcohol equivalent industry. The opportunity is great for local distillers and also distillers across the world to bring in good products to India, and it will be a very exciting time both for India and the whole Asian region to experience a whole lot of new products coming across the globe as well as from their own countries.
For yourself, as the chairman, and in your private life, do you have any plans to build, or even write a book, about, and even have a restaurant that will probably blend with your whiskeys?
Well, I probably when I think of retiring, maybe a few years from now, when I feel there is a competent situation to handle the next phase of this industry, probably I'll write down my memoirs down. I would like to do that someday.
Is there one particular dish, probably Indian cuisine, that you can name out that would have a good match with your whiskey?
I feel if you're tasting any good tandoor food, which is not too spicy, in a good tandoor with not with too much of spice, that's fine. It can be chicken tandoor, it can be lamb
Tandoori.
Tandoori. It's made of tandoor, which is very popular in India. Any tandoor dishes are fine, because in India the practice is mostly we have the practice of having a cocktail and then go for dinner. And dinner itself is not going to be very long. It's going to be mainly food oriented rather than too much of drinking any other alcohol. Except there are some wines coming up and some beer, rose, water. But the pre-dinner period is the one when people eat some short eats, and at that time I would I personally probably find a good tandoor food going along with any of the malts that you choose from, Mass Table or any other stable. Having said that, good malts are made everywhere.
Very good.
And it's not just, I would say that every malt in this world is good. It's only the perception of people as to how to learn to appreciate it.
Amazing. Appreciation, great malts everywhere in the world. Everything that comes from India as well as Scotland and elsewhere, they're all receptive. And I hope that you would enjoy us at the Whisky Live. And here we want to thank Mr. Neil for joining us at the National Queen's Choice Haytt. And thank you for joining us again, and have a great day.